Sweat poured down Gideon's face as he hid in the winepress, secretly threshing wheat. His eyes constantly scanned the horizon with fear. The Midianites could appear at any moment. For 7 long years, Israel had lived like this, hidden, hungry, hopeless. The Midianites were like a plague of locusts, countless and destructive, covering the land and taking everything: crops, animals, and dignity. The people who had seen the Red Sea part now hid in caves. And Gideon? He was just a frightened young man, the youngest son from the weakest family in Manasseh. Nobody important, nobody special, until a voice broke the silence. "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon turned abruptly. An angel stood there, calm, as if hiding in a winepress was the most normal thing in the world. "Mighty warrior?" Gideon almost laughed. "If the Lord is with us, then why has all this happened? Where are all the miracles our fathers told us about?" The angel's response was staggering. "Go in the strength you have and save Israel." "Am I not sending you?" Gideon felt the weight of those words. Him? Save Israel? It was impossible, but something inside him ignited. A tiny spark. A possibility. That very night, Gideon destroyed the altar of Baal that belonged to his own father. His hands trembled, but he obeyed. By morning, the whole town wanted him dead. But his father, surprisingly, defended him. If Baal is a god, let him defend himself. Gideon's fear began to change into something new. It wasn't courage yet, just trembling obedience. Soon, the Midianites gathered again to invade. 135,000 warriors camped in the valley. It was a sea of tents, camels, and gleaming weapons. Gideon blew the trumpet. Men of Israel began to arrive. First hundreds, then thousands. His heart raced. 32,000 men. They were still outnumbered 4-1, but it was something. Then God spoke. "You have too many men. If I deliver the Midianites into their hands, Israel will boast, saying, 'My own strength has saved me.'" Gideon froze. Too many? They barely had a chance. "Announce, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him return home." 22,000 men turned their backs and left. Gideon watched his army shrink to just 10,000. Panic rose in his throat. But God wasn't finished. There are still too many. At the stream, Gideon watched the men drink. Most knelt down, plunging their faces into the water, vulnerable and distracted. But 300 men lapped water from their hands, keeping their eyes alert. "With these 300 men, I will save you." 300 against 135,000. The odds were 450-1. That night, Gideon couldn't sleep. The enemy camp stretched endlessly, their fires like fallen stars on the earth, and he had 300 men. God knew his heart. If you are afraid, go down to the camp and listen to what they say. Afterward your hands will be strengthened. Gideon crawled between enemy tents in the darkness and heard a soldier telling a dream. "I dreamt a loaf of barley bread tumbled into our camp and knocked a tent down." His friend replied, trembling, "This can only be the sword of Gideon. God has delivered Midian into his hands." The enemies were already afraid. God had already won. Midnight, 300 men surrounded the vast enemy camp. Each carried a torch hidden in a clay jar and a trumpet. No sword, no spear. Just light, sound, and faith. "Watch me and do as I do," Gideon shouted. At his signal, 300 jars shattered at once. Torches blazed to life all around the camp. The sound of 300 trumpets tore through the night like thunder. A sword for the Lord and for Gideon. The chaos was instant. The Midianites awoke, thinking they were surrounded by thousands. Disoriented in the dark, they began fighting each other. The immense army that had terrorized Israel fled in desperation. The 300 simply held their torches and blew their trumpets while God fought for them. The most impossible victory in history happened without a single Israelite sword being raised. When the sun rose, Israel was free. Gideon, the frightened young man from the winepress, became Gideon, the deliverer of Israel. Not because he was strong, but because God chooses the weak to confound the strong. The 300 returned home as ordinary men, but they had seen that when God is with you, numbers don't matter. Odds don't matter, because 300 with God are an absolute majority. Are you looking at a giant today? A problem too big for your strength. Maybe you feel like Gideon in the winepress, hidden and afraid. But what if God is looking at you right now saying, "Go in the strength you have. Am I not sending you?" The same God who fought for 300 men with torches fights for you now. Don't give up on your impossible battle. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.